I'd like to now yield to my friend and colleague, Ms. Bass, the ranking member of the subcommittee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your trip that you and Mr. Simpkins made. I know it was on very short notice, but a very important delegation, so I'm glad that you did that, and also that we're having this hearing so quickly. I also want to thank Ambassador Booth and Ambassador Lyman, and I'm glad that we will be hearing your testimony today. I was in South Sudan in November, and I went there with a small delegation to look at the UN peacekeeping mission at the time, and that was before Machar returned, and the big concern then was, will he return and will the nation hold to the agreement? And it was shortly after President Kiir had divided up the nation and expanded the provinces. And we were very concerned about how you could possibly, since that was done after the peace agreement, how can you hold to the peace, how can you hold to the power sharing that had been agreed to in the peace agreement if you've reconfigured the entire geography of the nation? At the time, we were concerned about what was happening with UNMISS then. But now, what's going on, how the violence has expanded and encompassed and victimized yet again South Sudanese citizens, and especially the ones that are least able to protect themselves, women, girls, and youth. In response to the crisis, I joined several of my colleagues in a letter to President Obama outlining the severity of the deteriorating situation in South Sudan and calling on the U.S. to lead the way in calling for an arms embargo on South Sudan to stop the needless killing, endless brutality, and unconscionable impunity. The UNSC August 12th decision to renew UNMISS, the proposed revision of its mandate and inclusion of an additional 4,000-strong regional protection force must be applauded, but there must also be clarification regarding the specific rules of engagement governing the UNMISS troops. I understand that the South Sudanese government agreed to the additional regional protection force as recently as Sunday. I look to Ambassador Booth to outline the next steps which must be taken to bring an end to the nightmare of violence, not only by the long-term suffering citizens of South Sudan, but also by the foreign nationals who, with total disregard for their personal welfare, seek to assist these citizens. Several of the questions that I have we'll get into in the dialogue, but I want to propose them in the beginning. And obviously the central question is, what more can we do? An arms embargo, will it really be effective? It seems as though there needs to be, a whole international effort that's beyond UNMISS. And I want to know what your thoughts are in terms of the AU and the AU's capacity. And also, in terms of UNMISS, what will their role be? Will they be able to intervene? Will they be able to be aggressive, or are they just going to be in a position where, they will watch something happening? I just think that this situation has reached, and we all know this, has reached dire proportions. I was in Nigeria a couple of weeks ago, and it was a staff member from the State Department, actually, had just been evacuated from South Sudan and sent to Nigeria. So I really want to be as specific as possible. It's important to understand the situation, but I really want to get down to the brass tacks of, okay, now what? What can we do? What can we do as a nation? And what should the world do? Because otherwise, I just don't see the situation getting particularly better. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Ms. Bass.